Hey there internets, I'm Michael and this is Toucan Play That Game with another game night in review, and this time it's my first impressions of Tatsu, which is from Gen 42 and by the same designer as Hive. So you know that if you like abstract strategy games, you've probably heard of Hive, probably played it, and you know whether or not you like it. So you'll have a good gauge as to whether or not you like games by this designer. So what is Tatsu? Well, as I've already implied, it is an abstract strategy game. Although there is a bit of a pasted on theme about dragons and some sort of orientalness that I don't really understand. It doesn't really come through in the gameplay. But the nature of the game is that you have this wheel with positions, and the wheel has two positions, the inner position and the outer position. You have different coloured discs, and I think there were 3 different colours. You had green, blue and red, and you've got different numbers of each of these, and these represent different types of dragons. I think it's earth, water, fire dragons, for example. And these have different powers if they land on an opponent's piece. So if you land an earth one, which was one of the green ones, it traps an opponent's piece, meaning they have to discard one of the dice they roll in order to be able to move it. The other types, water will send it back to the player's reserve, which will then mean that they'll have to get it back out again. And fire will completely destroy that element. So the game has a roll and move element to it, but it isn't a huge amount. Just enough to mean that this might not be the game for you if you want pure strategy from your abstract strategy games, because you could have the perfect strategy, but if you don't roll the right numbers to land on your opponent when you need to, or land in the spawn zone that you need to, it can be frustrating. You know, it's a strategy game, but if you don't roll the right numbers, you can't win. It goes against the strategy, but for me, it actually means that it makes it a lighter, more enjoyable, more fun game that my wife would potentially be more likely to play, where you still have elements of strategy. For example, one thing you can do that's a bit strategic is position 2 of your pieces in the same space. Now, what this does is it creates a space that that player can't land on. They can go past it, but they can't land on it. So that's an interesting way of protecting your pieces as well. Now, the nature of this, you want to win the game by either destroying, using the red ones, all of one colour of your opponent's dragons, which, when you keep in mind there's only 2 red ones for each player, that can be quite a risk. You've got to get the red ones out to destroy your opponent, but if you get them out, you might lose them, and that might lose you the game. The other way to end the game is for one player to have no dragons on the board at a time. So yeah, as I say, it is an interesting strategy game that it has that luck, which makes it lighter than most, but there are strategies in there. It's very pretty, very well made. The components themselves, the board's really good quality, the discs are really nice, the graphic design on those discs is very nice. But I think it will alienate a lot of people who like their abstract strategy games because of that luck factor. And at the same time, it still feels like an abstract strategy game. That means that people who typically don't like abstract strategy games potentially won't like it. But I do think that this is maybe one you should try if you like the idea of abstract strategy games, but you've always found there's just not enough luck in there. Okay, I do hope you found this video useful and helpful, and of course if you have, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel, as well as subscribing to the channel and sharing it with your friends and family. And do also take a look at us on social media. You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.